Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Choosing the right AV receiver is essential for creating an immersive home theater or high-fidelity audio experience. Whether you're a movie buff, a gamer, or a music lover, a high-quality receiver can enhance your setup with powerful sound processing, seamless connectivity, and multi-room capabilities. So in this video, we have compiled a list and reviewed the top 15 best AV receivers you can buy in 2025. For more information on the products, we have included links in the description box below. Let's get started. Number 15. Yamaha RX-V6A. Yamaha recently refreshed their entry-level line of receivers, of which the 7.2 channel RX-V6A is one. It has a completely redesigned front end, which we think looks gorgeous. The sleek black expanse and the two-tier layout is a breath of fresh air among the identikit black boxes on this list, and we truly hope the design makes it all the way up the Yamaha line. Unfortunately, that's where our recommendations end, because for $600, we would have hoped that the RX-V6A would do something a little different beyond the looks. Yes, you get 8K and HDR10+, but there's just not enough content to take advantage of them right now. We can't really recommend you buy this over, for example, the less expensive Denon AVR-S750H 499, which is a tried and tested machine with similar features. The RX-V6A should do better on this list if the price drops at any point. Number 14. Denon AVR-X4800H. At a time when home sound systems are becoming smaller, smarter, and more compact, Denon chose to take the opposite approach. They have created this truly incredible receiver with 9.4 channels. While this is a step back from the AVR-X4700H's remarkable 13.2 channels, it's still more than sufficient for even the most discerning audiophile. As of now, there's simply nothing else quite like it. If you can envision a type of surround sound program or receiver technology, it's included here. The feature set is simply astounding. However, like the Arkham AVR-20, this may be overkill for most users. It's something that should only be purchased by those capable of fully utilizing its speaker channel array. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time. If you have a large room and want to experience the delights of something like Oro 3D, then this is definitely the receiver you should choose. It caters to a niche market, but it does this exceptionally well. If you desire the same Denon quality, but aren't willing to spend quite as much, and don't need as many channels, consider the AVR-X3800H. That's one of Denon's newer AV receivers, and is arguably more future-proof and less extravagant than this high-end model. Number 13. Onkyo TX-NR696. The Onkyo TX-NR696 is an ideal alternative to some of the pricier models above, especially if you don't need the additional channels and power. For almost all setups, this is an excellent choice, boasting a great range of features for the price. These include the ability to add speakers in an additional zone, meaning this could easily power the audio in an entire house. You also get not one but two subwoofer outputs, meaning that the entire house will shake on its foundations. Our biggest problem with the Onkyo is that the sound quality isn't nearly as meaty as the Denon AVR-S970H, which actually costs much less. It's still very good. You certainly won't feel shortchanged, but it doesn't have the punch or excitement other receivers have. And if you really want to experience movies and streaming series in the best possible way, it's worth going for. The Denon. You also don't get quite as many surround sound options, just Atmos, DTS-X, and DTS Neural X. Otherwise, this is an excellent choice. Number 12. Marantz NR1711. The Marantz NR1711 is the latest in the current trend of slimline receivers, a welcome trend we might add. It's a sleek, attractive receiver that really wows on features. There's 8K compatibility, although there's scant content right now that can take advantage of it, HDMI 2.1, and crucially, a variable refresh rate. That's important for new consoles like the Xbox Series X and PS5, making this receiver a great option if you plan on picking one of those. It makes the Marantz NR1711 the best choice for those who want a full gaming surround system. That said, the big downside here is that the Marantz NR1711 is overpriced right now. 1,999 on this feels like a lot, especially when you take into account the sound quality, which is good rather than great. Marantz do love their incremental updates, so hopefully, newer models will see this one drop in price. However, right now, it's only worth considering if you're a gamer and want to get the absolute best out of your Xbox or PS5, because outside of that particular use case, there are better and more affordable options available. Our top pick. The Denon AVR-S970H does almost everything the Marantz does, only backward and in heels. Number 11. Yamaha RX-A6A. The Yamaha RX-A6A, not to be confused with the far more affordable Yamaha RX-V4A, one of our top picks, is a fine high-end AV receiver. It's Yamaha's attempt to compete with the big Denon models, and mostly, it does well. The sound doesn't have the warmth and punch of the Denon AVR-X3800H, but makes up for it with clear, almost clinical detail and pinpoint precision. The feature sets are comparable, meaning that this is the receiver to go for if you're prepared to pay for super precise sound. The problem is that the Yamaha RX-A6A actually offers too much. It includes the company's Cinema DSP HD3 processing, which allows you to access 24 recreations of famous spaces. It's fun, but mostly useless when you just want to watch a movie with good sound. Ditto for surround. AI, which is supposed to level the sound naturally, but mostly comes off as artificial. The RX-A6A sounds good, but it does come off as Yamaha, throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks. And why should you have to pay a high price for that? Ultimately, there are better and less expensive options in the world of AV receivers, and ones that waste significantly less of your time. Number 10. Sony STR-DH790. The Sony STR-DH790 is the bigger brother of the DH590, which is currently our top budget pick for receivers. Yes, you'll pay a little more money, but you get significantly better sound quality, particularly with movie dialogue. You get a very good range of features too. Dolby Atmos, DTS:X, and 2 more channels, plus an additional subwoofer output. If you're looking for surround sound, but aren't willing to spend $1,700 on a Denon AVR-X3800H, then this Sony will do just fine. But boy, does the Sony STR-DH790 make some strange design choices. The speaker terminals, for example. The front left and front right are regular terminals that allow convenient banana plug connections, but all the others are basic spring clips that only accept bare speaker wire. That is stupendously annoying, and not something we'd expect when spending almost $500. This is a good receiver, but it's not our first choice. Number 9. Denon AVR-S540BT. We are always very careful about recommending receivers under $400, as they can be hit and miss. The Denon AVR-S540BT, fortunately, is the former. It may be parsimonious with features, especially when compared to models like the $200 Sony STR-DH590, our top budget pick. But it makes up for it with solid sound quality that has real punch and pizzazz. We also like the fact that it's a 5.2 system, meaning it can handle twin subwoofers, a rarity at this price point. If you're a bass head, the AVR-S540BT could be a great option. The most glaring downsides, in our opinion, are the dated design and the lack of features. The Denon AVR-S540BT may offer good sound, but it uses spring clips for speaker wire attachment, as opposed to the more common and much friendlier binding posts. Banana plugs are not an option. That makes it fiddly and irritating to set up, although it's forgivable at this price point. And compared to other budget receivers, here, the AVR-S540BT loses out big time. It offers only Dolby True HD and DTS HD master surround sound, which are very limited options. We like it for pure sound quality, but it's far from the best receiver here. Number 8. Sony STR-AN1000. Several other sites place the STR-AN1000 at the top of their AV receiver lists. We are not several other sites. While we think it's solid, especially for the price range, it doesn't quite get the edge over the Denon AVR-S760H. All the same, it's got excellent sound quality, not to mention power. 165 watts, which is more than enough to power just about any speaker currently on the market. The sound is rich and bombastic, and while there are better receivers available, there are few that sound as good. Sony hasn't refreshed this receiver in some time, and there's no news on when that might happen. But it's an old, reliable warhorse that still battles with the best. We also love Sony's interface, which continues from the one present on the old STR-DN1080 and is very easy to use. We appreciate the fact that it not only has Dolby Atmos and DTS-X functionality, not usually seen at this price range, but also DSD functionality. That means it can play ultra-high resolution audio files, a nice touch and not one you see often. Here's to the 1100, 2000, what we wouldn't give for some original receiver names. Number 7. Integra DRX-3.3. Sonos speakers are hugely popular, and with good reason. When it comes to wireless audio, they are among the easiest and best sounding options available. Their products are slowly becoming more and more integrated with AV receivers, and we think the Integra DRX-3.3 does the best job here. It easily allows you to link existing Sonos speakers to it, as well as play any audio through the Sonos Connect app. If you own speakers from the company and you want to integrate them into a compelling home theater setup, then the DRX-3.3 is the best way to do it in our opinion. A full Sonos system does allow you to eliminate receivers entirely by relying on an arc or beam soundbar, but you don't get the functionality and versatility that the Integra gives you. The problem is Sonos integration aside, the Integra DRX-3.3 doesn't do anything particularly special. Other less expensive receivers, like the $640 Denon AVR-S960H, arguably offer better sound quality. And since we are talking about price, it must be said that the DRX-3.3 is quite expensive for what you get. It's a great option for Sonos integration, but it definitely has its downsides. Number 6. Denon AVR-S970H. Previously, we would have advised against the Denon AVR-S970H. It was an incremental update on the 960H and cost more. But the price dropped to make it more affordable, so we think we can recommend it over its older brother. All in all, it's an excellent receiver, with a huge range of features and warm, engaging sound quality, particularly for music. You can add wireless speakers via Denon's HEOS functionality, although the less expensive Yamaha RX-V4A is a better option for this. And there are clever features like Apple AirPlay 2 and smart assistants included. However, features are where the Denon AVR-S970H struggles. As good a receiver as it is, it's a real puzzle that it doesn't have Google Chromecast, which most other receivers above it in this list have. We also have to give it a black mark for the on-screen interface, which is clunky and outdated. While these issues mean that the Denon AVR-S970H isn't the best AV receiver, it's still very good overall and excellent for Spotify listening. Number 5. NAD770H. One thing you might have noticed about our list, even if you're only somewhat alert, is that nearly all the receivers look the same. Same design, same control schemes, and identical names. Don't blame us, blame the industry. That's why the NAD-T770H is such a breath of fresh air. It's the first receiver we've seen that actually looks cool, featuring NAD's excellent touchscreen technology and a vivid, bright display. This brand new receiver sounds incredible, with an impressive range of features, and is a highly competitive alternative to the likes of the awesome AVR-20. Of all the four-figure giants here, the NAD-T770H stands out as the most interesting and exciting. It's a few years old now, and due for an upgrade soon, but it's still holding up well. We believe that even long after its release, it's the best option for those willing to invest significantly in an AV receiver. The high price might give people pause, however. The T770H is one of the most expensive receivers on this list, and given the touchscreen technology and the impressive range of features, that's hardly surprising. Nevertheless, it's out of reach for most people, which makes it difficult to recommend that everyone buy it. There are also some perplexing omissions, like the absence of DTS-X. All you get is DTS Master Audio. Number 4. Yamaha RX-V4A. Wireless home theater can be hit and miss. Sana speakers won't work with most AV receivers, and Denon's HEOS system can be glitchy and irritating. Yamaha, however, gets it. Their MusicCast system works well, and if you want wireless surround audio, we recommend going for the new RX-V4A receiver, which connects flawlessly to the company's MusicCast 20, 50, and sub-100 speakers. It doesn't have Dolby Atmos or DTS:X, but we don't consider that a downside. Wireless speakers can't use those anyway. No, this is a receiver built specifically to ditch the cables, and it works superbly well. It's a much better option for wireless audio than the top-ranked Denon AVR-S970H, for example. We adore the sleek new look that Yamaha has introduced with their new receivers. The RX-V4A has a broad front panel that looks chic and sleek, but the build quality can't match it, and despite the great design, the materials feel cheap and plasticky. And while the sound is perfectly passable, it's not quite as full or as punchy as other models, like the aforementioned Denon. Note that the Yamaha RX-V4A can also use wired speakers perfectly well. It's just not the best option for them. And if you did want to stick to Sonos, check out the Integra DRX-3.3 receiver below. You'll pay significantly more, but it plays nicely with Sonos speakers. This Yamaha does not. Number 3, Denon AVR-X3800H. One of the annoying things about new AV receivers is that they often increase the price while adding very little. That's not the case with the Denon AVR-X3800H, an upgrade on the 3700H that really packs in the new features. There's a new surround processor, making this receiver ideal for Dolby Atmos, and you can now assign individual channels as pre-outs. That means you can add as many power amps as you like, creating your dream system. There's EARC, 8K upscaling on all 6 HDMI inputs, and look, we highly doubt there is any future tech development in the next 5 or 6 years that Denon hasn't catered for. This isn't just the top choice for any Dolby Atmos enthusiast, it's the ultimate future-proof receiver. It helps that it sounds terrific too, weighty and punchy with real bite. One of the things that hasn't been upgraded with the Denon AVR-X3800H is the design. This looks roughly the same as every other Denon receiver before it, and while Denon clearly believes that if it isn't broken, they shouldn't fix it, it's still a boring build that could use a refresh. That aside, there's no question that this receiver is a stellar choice for hardcore surround sound nerds, and those building a bespoke home cinema. Worth noting, if the price is too high, the AVR-X2800H costs less than $1,000, but has significantly reduced specs. If that's where you're aiming, our top-ranked Denon AVR-S970H is a better option, with more sonic weight. Number 2, Sony STR-DH590. If you are a beginner in the world of home theater and surround sound, the Sony STR-DH590 is the receiver to go for. It gives you all the features you'll need to get started with a basic surround speaker setup and drawers. Its wealth of features from its bigger brother, the STR-DN1080. You get 5 speaker channels, allowing you to use speakers at the side or rear, and there's a full 4K pass-through, so you can get the very best out of your picture. The sound quality is solid too. While other receivers like the Denon AVR-S540BT have a little more sonic weight to them, the STR-DH590 delivers great precision and detail. One of the things to bear in mind with the Sony STR-DH590 is that it doesn't play well with bigger floor-standing or tower speakers. It simply doesn't have the finesse or power to drive them effectively, meaning you'll get subpar sound. If you go for this receiver, we recommend smaller satellite or bookshelf speakers. But really, that's one of the few downsides. If you're on a budget or looking to dip your toe into surround sound, the STR-DH590 is one of the easiest ways to start. Number 1, Denon AVR-S760H. In our opinion, anybody looking to buy the absolute best overall AV receiver for the money should buy a Denon, and in particular, the AVR-S760H. This line represents some of the finest receivers we've ever tested, impressing us with hard-hitting, muscular sound. The S760H has a wealth of useful features, including Dolby Atmos and DTS:X surround sound, Bluetooth, and Spotify Connect for music listening. It's been out for a little while now, but we think It has yet to be bettered by any other AV receiver model in its price range. There isn't another product on this list that combines this range of features with this level of sound quality, and all for under $500. We'd much rather steer you toward a slightly older model than hit you with a pricey new receiver that does more or less the same thing. One feature that we would like to see added to the Denon AVR-S760H is Chromecast. This is a surprising omission for a receiver released in 2022. This kind of thing really should have been added in an update by now. It's made even more annoying when you consider that Hedos, Denon's own streaming app, is a bit clunky and frustrating to use. That said, you can easily operate the AVR-S760H without it. We much prefer this receiver to models like the Yamaha RX-V4A below, and even Denon's other offerings. It genuinely is one of the best models you can buy. Thanks for watching! If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more awesome videos. We'd love to have you join the community. Catch you in the next one.